Alright, let's add our next topic. Alright, so we're going to look at graphing today. The equation we most often use when we graph is y equals mx plus b. The m stands for slope, and the b stands for the y-intercept on the graph. And the y-intercept is the point on the y-axis where the line touches. So if we were to look at a graph, and we'll go ahead and make this our first example. If we were to graph y equals a 2x minus 3, we start with our y-intercept. This is going to be step 1. So we go over to our graph. This is our y-axis. You go down, you put a dot on -3. And so now our second step is we're going to use our slope to tell us how the next dot's going to move. So remember, our definition of slope is rise over run. So if my number is 2, any whole number can be written over 1. So my slope is 2 over 1. So we go up 2, so 1, 2, to the right 1, draw a dot. And then you rinse and repeat. You do it again. Up 2 over 1. And you want to have 3 dots on your graph. So then you connect your dots and you get a nice straight line. So this 2 was our slope because we're going up 2 over 1. The 3, the -3, was where we started on our y-intercept. Right, so now I'm going to give you a graph and I want you to find the equation for the line. So when we do this, it's just like we graph, we start with our y-intercept. So again, we want to look on the y-axis and where our line touches. And so you can see it touches at -1. So we know our b is going to be -1, so we just can write -1. So now what we want to do is we want to find our slope. And to find our slope, we want to have 2 dots that we know for sure. So there's a good dot there at -1, a good point. So now I'm just going along the line until I find a lattice point where the line crosses and we have a nice ordered pair that we can use. So now we just do our slope, our rise over run. So we draw our slope triangle. And now we find our rise. 1, 2. So it goes up 2. And this goes over 1, 2, 3. So that means that my slope, my m, is up 2 over 3. And then you'll notice that the y and the x are our variables that we always include, so we don't change them. So we get y equals a 2/3 x minus 1. So -1 was the y-intercept. The 2/3 was my up 2 over 3. So now what I want you to do is I want you to find the slope and y-intercept for this line and write an equation that looks like y equals mx plus b. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at about graphing are the intercepts. Whenever I draw a line, there's a good possibility that I'm going to get an x and y intercept so these points, when they cross the axis, so remember this is our y-axis, this point would be called the y-intercept. And when the line crosses the x-axis, it's called the x-intercept. So when we have an equation like 5x minus 4y equals 20, let's look at finding the x-intercept. So when we find the x-intercept, the rule is that we make y equals 0. And the reason for that is over here, if we look at this point, this could be like 3 comma 0. This point right here would be 1.5, 0. Whenever you have an x-intercept, your y value is 0. And so to find the x-intercept, we just make y 0. And whenever we plug in 0, what happens is that the 0 is going to cancel out that number, so it's always going to be 0. And so I just use the cover-up method. I just pretend that that y is no longer there, and I just write 5x equals 20, and then I solve that. Divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals 4. So that means my x-intercept is 4 comma 0. So I want you to find the x-intercept for 2x minus 4y, let's make it plus 4y, equals 16. So find the x-intercept for this equation. Alright, now to find the y-intercept, it's just like finding the x-intercept, except now we make x equals 0. So I'm going to use the same equation, 5x minus 4y equals 20. And this time, since the x is 0, this is going to go away. And so my equation becomes negative 4y equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 4. And I get y equals negative 5. So now, since my x was 0, this would be 0 comma the negative 5. So now I want you to, using the same equation, 2x plus 4y equals 16, find the y-intercept. Now, one of the reasons why we find the intercepts is because it allows us to do a graph. So here, this has a x-intercept of 4, 0. So we put a dot there. This one has a 0, negative 5. So we put a dot there. And then we just connect our dots. And then we have the line for this equation. So now we're going to look at horizontal and vertical lines. When I graph a horizontal line, it's just a flat line going left to right. And so when you graph this, notice that the horizontal line touches the y-axis. So it has that y-intercept. So a horizontal line will have the equation of y equals some number. So this one would be y equals positive 4. This one would be y equals negative 5. So a horizontal line always has y equals some number. Now a vertical line, you can see, always touches the x-axis. So this one would be x equals a 3, This one would be x equals -5. So a vertical line always has x equals some type of number. Alright, so for 4a, I want you to write the equation of the red line, and for 4b, write the equation of the green line.